The motorspirit is in Watkins, Glen, New York, to remember the coming of age of American sports car racing. The first sports car races were on the streets of the village of Watkins, Glen, beginning in 1948 to 1955. This weekend is the Watkins Glen Grand Prix Festival, where cars of their time gather on Franklin Avenue and will tour the old Watkins Glen road course, which is registered as a National Historic Place. There are a lot of Bugattis, MGs, and a hodgepodge bunch of cars, not much different than in the old days. In this case, being tech inspected at Smalley's garage, as they were in the 40s and 50s. The garage is still active today.
We'd also like to welcome the Sports Car Vintage and Racing Association, better known as SVRA, to our festival. You'll see some of their cars down here later this afternoon as we grid for the Grand Prix reenactment. And we usually get a really terrific number of cars from a whole bunch of different groups for SVRA, and of course you'll be able to get up close and personal with all of those cars. It's a really terrific part of the day.
The Watkins Glen races came about because of Cameron Artsinger, a young New York lawyer who would vacation in Watkins Glen and was in love with European road racing. He overcame numerous obstacles, including changing a railroad schedule to accommodate the race. Today you can still drive the original course with a long uphill like at Spa. It's easy to see this is a course of a road racing romantic. The course was just a little under 7 miles, and the races were about 8 laps. And the first winning car was a pre-war Alpha 8C 2900. Can you imagine pushing a big Jag XK120 through these? Or the little spindly tires of an MGTC? And then heading downhill to the start-finish line on the main street of the village, Franklin Avenue. Safety concerns and burgeoning crowds brought an end to the street racing, and the opening of Watkins Glen International, just outside of the village. From Watkins Glen, we take a road trip to Lime Rock Park. The motorspirit is in Lime Rock Park, located in the bucolic Berkshire Mountains of western Connecticut. Lime Rock was built in 1956 and is the third most consecutive operating road racing course in America, after Road America and that California Dust Bowl, Willow Springs. Lime Rock, like Watkins Glen, is in the National Register of Historic Places. 1.5 miles long, it was built using state-of-the-art road and highway principles for safety at the time, and followed the lead of some of America's top road racers. Lap times are around a minute. This weekend is the annual Labor Day Historic Festival. It begins with a parade through the countryside, finishing in Falls Village for what I would call a cars and cocktails.
Country road. Lime Rock, you still feel like you're on a country road. There are certain parts of it, you know. It feels like, oh, it's a racetrack in the countryside, and I like that. It's
a crazy day, man.
General Motors brought a museum's worth of Corvette concept cars. It was like a time capsule of automotive styling trends. Lime Rock and Corvettes have a long shared history. Here's a flashback from the Santa Barbara road races. I grew up in Santa Barbara, and Washburn Chevrolet was at 614 State Street, and Bob Bondurant drove this car. Racing is throughout the weekend, except for Sunday. A band instigated by a local church in the early days is still on. Racing resumes on Monday. Top drivers have raced here. Its most celebrity driver was local Paul Newman. Motorsports' poet laureate, Sam Posey, is from Sharon, Connecticut, not far away.
Lime Rock Park is a flow track, so if you find yourself missing up the first corner, you've compromised every other aspect of your lap, and you've literally just reset yourself until you come around to that first corner again. Thank you. You're welcome.
Lime Rock Park has no grandstands. Spectators can roam for their favorite spots.